Iris Kowalski had filled out Form 883G approximately 14 times in the last 6 months. Each time, the questions were identical. Species? Human. Planet of origin? Earth. Reason for immigration? Work visa? Allergies? Peanuts? Shellfish? And bureaucratic incompetence. She never actually wrote that last one down. But she thought it very loudly. The orbital customs station smelled like recycled air and something vaguely citrus that she suspected was alien anxiety sweat. The waiting room had chairs designed for anatomies that definitely didn't include spines. Iris had given up trying to sit comfortably and was now perched on the edge of one, datapad balanced on her knee, filling out yet another redundant form. "This is my 5th screening this month," she muttered to no one in particular. The clerk, a gelatinous being that looked like sentient grape jelly poured into a uniform, didn't respond. It was too busy oozing toward the DNA scanner with the enthusiasm of someone facing their own mortality. Iris sighed and pressed her thumb to the scanner when prompted. Bright blue light swept across her skin. The machine beeped, once, twice. Then it made a sound like a strangled cat being thrown into a wood chipper. "Huh," Iris said. The clerk turned approximately 17 different colors in rapid succession. None of them looked medically advisable. "Is this about the peanut allergy again?" Iris asked, already reaching for her datapad. "Because I already filled out Form 339B and 339C, and the supplemental addendum you guys invented last week." The clerk made a noise that Iris's translator interpreted as distressed gurgling. "I'm going to need you to," the clerk began, its voice crackling through the translator. "Remain very calm." "I'm calm," Iris said. She was, in fact, extremely calm. Mostly because she'd been dealing with galactic bureaucracy for 6 months and had achieved a zen-like state of irritated acceptance. "The scanner has flagged your genetic profile." "Flagged how?" "As a..." The clerk checked its screen, colors shifting to a nauseous yellow-green. "Code Vermillion biohazard." Iris blinked. "I'm a biohazard?" "You have predators in your genetic lineage." "Yeah," Iris said slowly. "It's called evolution. Have you guys not covered that yet?" The clerk's gelatinous form quivered. "Not predators as in evolutionary ancestors. Predators as in 3 separate apex predator species contributing to your active genome." Iris stared at the clerk. The clerk stared back. Or did whatever the gelatinous equivalent of staring was. "I'm going to need you to elaborate," Iris said, "because that sounds fake. Your DNA contains genetic markers from Homo sapiens, Homo neanderthalensis, and Homo denisova, along with traces of an unidentified hominid predator species." "Right," Iris said. "Humans interbred with other hominids. This is basic anthropology. You absorbed 3 competing predator species through reproductive integration," the clerk said, its voice climbing an octave. "We didn't absorb anyone. We just..." Iris paused. "Wait, how are Neanderthals predators? They were mostly vegetarian. They had forward-facing eyes, cooperative hunting behavior, and tool use capabilities optimized for killing. So do humans." "Exactly." The clerk was now vibrating with distress. "You are all predators, and your species interbred with 3 others." "Because we were lonely on the tundra," Iris said flatly. "It gets cold during ice ages." Before the clerk could respond, the door burst open. Station security poured into the waiting room like a SWAT team breaching a meth lab. Except instead of tactical gear, they wore environmental suits, and instead of guns, they carried what looked like containment poles designed for grabbing angry wildlife. Iris slowly raised her hands. "Is this really necessary?" she asked. The lead security officer, an insectoid creature with too many legs and not enough chill, pointed one of those legs at her. "Do you know what you are?" the officer demanded. "A very tired office worker who just wants her visa stamped?" "You are a hybrid predator," the officer said, mandibles clicking rapidly. 3 extinct killing machines in one organism. "They're not extinct," Iris said. 2 of them are. The 3rd one is me. I'm still very much alive." You carry the genetic legacy of multiple apex predators. I carry the genetic legacy of a long line of people who were really bad at staying in their own gene pools, Iris said. Can I please just get my visa? Negative. You are being detained pending council review. Council review? For what? For being, the officer checked a datapad with one of its many appendages, a biological amalgamation of predatory species presenting an unclear threat level to peaceful civilizations. Iris stared. I work in data analysis. That is exactly what a predator would say to lower our guard. What? That doesn't even... Alarms started blaring. Red lights flooded the customs station. The kind of red lights Iris had only seen in disaster movies, and that one time she'd accidentally triggered the fire suppression system at work. Lockdown initiated, a computerized voice announced. Code Vermillion. Apex predator detected. All personnel evacuate to safe zones. Oh, come on! Iris shouted over the noise. The clerk had already oozed away at impressive speed, leaving a trail of stressed bioluminescence across the floor. Security formed a perimeter around her, containment poles at the ready, like she was going to suddenly sprout claws and start hunting. Iris looked at the lead officer. This is about paperwork, right? I can fill out more forms. I'm great at filling out forms. It's literally my job. Your genetic profile is being transmitted to the Galactic Council as we speak, the officer said. Transmitted? Why? Because you are the first confirmed multi-predator hybrid to enter council space. That cannot possibly be true. Humans have been in council space for like 3 years. And every single one has been flagged for concerning genetic markers. But your profile shows active expression of predatory traits from multiple extinct species. What traits? Binocular vision optimized for tracking prey. Heightened pattern recognition. Cooperative pack behavior. Persistence hunting capability. Those are just normal human things. Exactly, the officer said, and somehow made it sound ominous. Through the station windows, Iris could see ships beginning to evacuate. The docking bay was chaos. People, aliens, she corrected herself mentally, were fleeing like she'd brought the plague. This is insane, she said. This is protocol, the officer replied. Somewhere in the station's communication array, her DNA profile was being broadcast to the Galactic Council, probably with a lot of flashing red warnings and apocalyptic threat assessments. All because she'd tried to get a work visa. Iris slumped in her non-ergonomic chair. I didn't even get to finish my form, she muttered. The officer's antennae twitched. What? Nothing, Iris said. Just wondering if this is going on my permanent record. Your entire genetic code is your permanent record. Great, perfect, love that for me. The alarms continued blaring. Security maintained their perimeter. And somewhere in the depths of space, the Galactic Council was receiving a message that would probably change humanity's relationship with the galaxy forever. All because Iris Kowalski had 3 dead relatives in her family tree, who were slightly too good at hunting mammoth. Can I at least get some water while we wait for the existential crisis to arrive? She asked. The officer's mandibles clicked uncertainly. That depends. Is hydration a predatory behavior? Iris closed her eyes and counted to 10. It was going to be a very long day. The xenobiologist team arrived 3 hours later with the kind of enthusiasm usually reserved for discovering new planets or witnessing supernovas. Iris was still sitting in the same chair, surrounded by nervous security, contemplating the poor life choices that had led her to this moment. The lead scientist burst through the door with all 4 arms extended in what Iris assumed was excitement, the crystalline being refracted light in every direction, turning the detention area into an impromptu disco. Specimen has been secured, the scientist announced. I'm right here, Iris said flatly. I can hear you calling me a specimen. The crystalline scientist swiveled its angular head toward her. Remarkable. It understands complex language patterns. I have a master's degree in data analytics. Fascinating. Tool use cognitive development. The scientist was practically vibrating with excitement, which created an unfortunate strobe light effect. I am Dr. Krill, lead xenobiologist for the Council's Dangerous Species Research Division. Dangerous species, Iris repeated. I process expense reports. And yet, Dr. Krill glided closer, pulling out a holographic display. Your genetic profile tells a far more predatory story. The hologram showed her DNA sequence, helpfully color-coded. 3 distinct markers were highlighted in aggressive red. Homo neanderthalensis, Krill said, pointing with one arm. Homo denisova. Another arm pointed to a different section. And traces of an unidentified hominid species that our database cannot classify. Right, Iris said. Humans interbred with other hominids. This is literally covered in middle school science class. You speak of it so casually. Krill's crystalline structure shimmered with what might have been horror. Your species absorbed 3 competing apex predator species through reproductive integration. We didn't absorb anyone. We just… Iris paused, trying to find a diplomatic way to phrase ancient human mating habits. We encountered other human-adjacent species and sometimes had kids together. You interbred with your competition. We call it Tuesday on Earth. Krill's 4 arms flailed in what Iris was beginning to recognize as distress. But don't you understand? In the galaxy's entire documented history, we have never encountered a species that successfully merged genetic material from multiple apex predators. The biological incompatibility alone should have been fatal. Humans are notoriously bad at dying when we're supposed to, Iris said. It's kind of our whole thing. That is exactly what concerns us. Krill tapped the holographic display, expanding it. Academic papers filled the air around them, dozens of titles in Galactic Standard. The scientific community has been studying your species since first contact, Krill said. The findings are disturbing. Iris leaned forward, reading the titles aloud. Pack bonding as psychological warfare. How humans weaponize affection. She blinked. The human stare. Predatory intimidation tactics in social settings. Iris looked at Krill. You're joking. I assure you the research is quite serious. Why humans adopt their food. A study in cognitive dissonance and dominance display. Iris continued reading, her voice climbing. Wait, they're scared of us because we have pets? You domesticate smaller predators and keep them in your living spaces. Krill's arms gestured wildly. You feed them, shelter them, and maintain them as permanent companions. My cat weighs 8 pounds and sleeps 16 hours a day, Iris said. She's afraid of cucumbers. You keep a trained carnivore in your den as a status symbol. I keep her because she's cute and purrs when I'm sad. Emotional manipulation of a subordinate predator to maintain pack hierarchy, Krill said, as if reading from a textbook. Textbook dominance behavior. Iris stared at the crystalline scientist, then at the papers, then back at Krill. You people have completely misunderstood everything about humans. On the contrary, Krill said, pulling up more files. We have been extremely thorough in our research. The hologram shifted, showing footage of humans in various everyday situations. Each clip had analytical overlays with threat assessments. A human making eye contact with an alien colleague. The AI analysis. Dominance display. Predatory stare pattern. Threat level. Moderate. That's just talking to someone, Iris said. Another clip. A human smiling at an alien child. Analysis. Baring teeth. Aggressive posture. Possible hunting behavior. That's being friendly. Next clip. A human offering food to an alien coworker. Analysis. Pack bonding attempt. Manipulation through resource sharing. Establishing hierarchy. That's called having lunch. Krill's crystalline form dimmed slightly. You're saying none of these behaviors are predatory in nature? No, they're completely normal. This is how humans interact with literally everyone. But the eye contact establishes dominance. It establishes that we're paying attention. And the teeth baring is smiling. It means we're happy. And the food sharing means we have extra food and don't want you to be hungry. Iris was on her feet now, gesturing at the holograms. How did you possibly conclude this was all hunting behavior? Krill's 4 arms drooped slightly. Because every predatory species we've encountered uses similar tactics when isolating prey. Iris felt a headache building behind her eyes. You think we're hunting you. All the time. Aren't you? Krill asked. And the genuine nervousness in that question was somehow worse than the accusations. No, we're just trying to exist and be nice to people. But your genetic profile is the result of my ancestors being really bad at staying in their own gene pools during the Ice Age? It doesn't mean I'm plotting to hunt anyone. Then why do humans maintain constant eye contact during conversations? Because it's polite. Why do you smile with your teeth exposed? Because we have emotions. Why do you form pack bonds with members of other species? Because we're lonely, and everything is cute, and we just want to be friends. The detention area fell silent. Krill's crystalline structure flickered through several colors Iris didn't have names for. That, the scientist said slowly, is somehow more terrifying than the alternative. How is friendship more terrifying than hunting? Because predation is predictable, but friendship, Krill shuddered, which created a sound like wind chimes in a hurricane. Friendship implies you want to be near us despite having every biological advantage. Why would a predator species choose to coexist peacefully? Because we're not predators, we're just people. The alarms started blaring again. Different alarms. Higher pitched, more urgent. The security officer from earlier rushed back in, all legs moving in frantic coordination. We have a situation. Another one? Iris asked. A human vessel has entered the system. So? It's approaching the station, okay? Our military AI has calculated that you are being flanked by a hunting pack. Iris closed her eyes and counted to 10 again. It wasn't helping anymore. That's just my coworker bringing my lunch, she said. Your lunch? Yeah. Lieutenant Greaves. He said he'd drop it off on his way to the supply run. Every alien in the room stared at her. You coordinated a rendezvous, the security officer said slowly. For food delivery. Yes? Pack behavior, Krill whispered. Resource sharing, coordinated movement patterns. It's a sandwich. The human vessel is hailing us, another security officer reported. Don't answer it, the first officer commanded. Too late. He's already docking. Through the window, Iris could see a small diplomatic shuttle attaching to the docking port with the casual ease of someone who'd done this 1,000 times. This is fine, Iris said to no one in particular. This is a perfectly normal situation that is definitely not going to get worse. The airlock hissed open. Lieutenant Greaves stepped through, holding a thermal bag and looking mildly confused about the 40 weapons pointed at his face. Iris, you missed the morning meeting. I brought your sandwich. Every alien in the room tensed. Krill's 4 arms shot up in alarm. It brought food. It's initiating pack bonding protocol. It's egg salad, Iris shouted. On wheat, with extra mayo. Greaves looked at Iris, then at the weapons, then at the thermal bag in his hand. Is this about the egg salad? He asked. Because I got turkey as backup. Lieutenant Greaves was having what he would later describe as a weird Tuesday. He'd woken up, gone to the morning briefing, noticed Iris was missing, grabbed her usual sandwich from the commissary, and headed to the customs station to check on her visa processing. Now he was standing in an airlock with approximately 40 weapons pointed at various parts of his anatomy, holding a thermal bag, and wondering if the egg salad had somehow become sentient and threatening. Iris, he called out, spotting her through the containment barrier. You missed the morning meeting. I brought your sandwich. Iris looked like she'd aged several years in the last few hours. They think we're apex predators. Greaves blinked. I mean, technically we are? Not helping, Greaves. Remain where you are, human, the insectoid security officer shouted, all its legs planted in what was probably meant to be an intimidating stance. Do not attempt any coordinated pack maneuvers. I'm just delivering lunch, Greaves said, holding up the thermal bag with both hands. See? Sandwich, completely harmless. That's what a predator would say, Dr. Krill whispered from somewhere behind the security perimeter. Is this about the egg salad? Greaves asked, genuinely confused. Because I got turkey as backup. I know the egg salad from the commissary can be questionable. The security officer's antennae twitched violently. You coordinated a rendezvous with the detained human. You brought sustenance. These are clear indicators of pack behavior. It's lunch, Greaves said slowly, as if speaking to a particularly dim child. Humans eat lunch. It's a thing we do, usually around midday. He's establishing food-sharing protocols, Krill said, all forearms typing frantically on a datapad. Classic pack bonding through resource distribution. I'm establishing that Iris gets hangry if she doesn't eat by 1 p.m., Greaves said. Before anyone could respond to that, new alarms started blaring. Apparently the station had an unlimited alarm budget, and another door burst open. A reptilian creature stalked in, scales gleaming under the harsh lights, eyes cold and calculating. It wore what Greaves recognized as military insignia from at least 6 different systems. I am Commander Zeth, the reptilian announced, voice dripping with the kind of paranoia that suggested several unsuccessful therapy attempts. Military strategist for the Council Defense Initiative. I'm here to assess the human threat level. There is no threat level, Iris said from behind the barrier. We're literally just trying to exist. That's what you want us to believe, Zeth hissed, tail lashing. But we've analyzed the behavioral patterns, the genetic markers, the predatory adaptations. Greaves set the thermal bag down carefully. Okay. I feel like there's been a massive misunderstanding here. Enlighten us, Zeth said, leaning forward. What is your species' hunting strategy? Our what? Your coordinated predation tactics, your pack hierarchy, your prey selection protocols. Greaves looked at Iris. Iris shrugged in a way that conveyed several paragraphs of exasperation. We don't have one? Greaves tried. Lies, Zeth hissed. Okay, you know what? Fine. Greaves pulled out his datapad. You want to know about humans? I'll tell you about humans. But I'm warning you, it's not going to make you feel better. He pulled up a file and projected it into the air. This is Earth, he said, displaying a rotating image of humanity's home planet. Pretty, right? Blue oceans, green continents, white clouds. Looks peaceful. Every alien leaned in slightly. It's a death trap, Greaves said cheerfully. He zoomed in on various regions, pulling up footage as he went. This is a hippopotamus. It kills more humans per year than any other large animal in Africa. This is a cassowary. It has claws that can disembowel you. This is a box jellyfish. Venom so potent you'll be dead in minutes. This is a mosquito. Kills about 1 million humans annually through disease transmission. With each image, the aliens in the room stepped backward. And my personal favorite, Greaves said, pulling up footage of a saltwater crocodile. This prehistoric nightmare can bite with a force of 3,700 pounds per square inch. Why do you live there? One of the security officers whispered. Because it's home, Greaves said, as if that explained everything. We evolved alongside these. Your planet has what? Aggressive moss? Zeth's scales had gone pale. You're saying your entire planet is a hostile environment. We're saying we're not even the scariest thing on it, Greaves said. We're somewhere in the middle of the food chain, honestly. Impossible. Your species has achieved space travel, advanced technology. You must be apex predators. We're apex survivors, Greaves corrected. There's a difference. We're not the strongest or the fastest or the most venomous. We're just really, really stubborn about not dying. You evolved on a death world, Krill breathed, all forearms frozen over the datapad. We call it Australia, Greaves said. Well, that specific region, but the whole planet's kind of like that. This explains everything, Zeth muttered. The pack bonding, the pattern recognition, the persistence behavior. It explains that we learned to work together because everything else was trying to kill us, Iris called out. Not that we're trying to hunt you. Can I at least give her the sandwich now? Greaves asked. She really does get mean when she's hungry. Zeth nodded slowly, and the security officer deactivated a portion of the barrier. Greaves picked up the thermal bag and walked over. He opened it, pulled out a sandwich wrapped in foil, and held it out to Iris. Every alien in the room tensed. Greaves took a bite of his own sandwich. "The predator is feeding," Krill whispered, typing frantically. "Establishing territory. Demonstrating dominance through consumption." Greaves chewed thoughtfully, then offered half of his sandwich to Iris through the gap in the barrier. "Pack-feeding behavior!" Szeth shouted, nearly falling over his own tail. "They're coordinating. Look at the resource distribution pattern." Iris accepted the sandwich half because she was hungry and spite was a powerful motivator. She took a bite, made eye contact with Greaves. Both of them chewed in silence. The silence stretched out. Every alien in the room watched with the kind of horrified fascination usually reserved for watching natural disasters unfold. "Are they communicating?" someone whispered. "Silent coordination," another responded. "The pack bond is stronger than we thought." "Possible telepathic link," Krill muttered, 4 arms flying across the datapad. "Recommending species-wide quarantine of human space. Threat level. Catastrophic." Greaves swallowed his bite and looked around at the terrified aliens. "We're literally just eating lunch." "That's what makes it so horrifying," Krill said. A new alarm started blaring. Greaves was starting to think the station just had these on a random timer at this point. "Emergency Council session initiated," a computerized voice announced. "All species representatives report to chambers immediately. Priority Alpha situation. Predator world designation pending." Szeth's datapad lit up. He read it, scales shifting through several concerning colors. "The Council has reviewed the evidence," he said slowly. "Earth is being designated a predator world. Quarantine level 9. "Quarantine level 9? Iris asked. "How many levels are there?" 9, Szeth said. "You're the first." "Great," Iris muttered. "We're so special." "All human immigration is suspended pending full species assessment," Szeth continued. "All humans currently in Council space are being recalled to Earth immediately. A diplomatic delegation will be assembled to negotiate containment protocols." Greaves looked at his sandwich, then at Iris, then at the assembled aliens. "Can we at least finish eating before you declare interstellar war?" Iris asked. "This isn't war," Commander Szeth said, though he didn't sound convinced. "This is protective quarantine." "Protective for who?" "Everyone," Szeth said, "including you. We're being protected from ourselves." "You're being protected from the galaxy's reaction to you," Krill said quietly. "There are species out there who will panic, who will see you as a threat, who might act preemptively." Greaves lowered his sandwich. "You're saying there's a chance someone tries to attack Earth?" "I'm saying there's a certainty," Szeth said, "unless we can convince the Council that humanity isn't a danger to galactic peace." "We're not," Iris said. "We've been trying to tell you that for hours." "Then you'll have a chance to prove it," Szeth said. "The Council wants a formal presentation, from humans, explaining your species, your intentions, and your biological quirks." "Who has to give this presentation?" Greaves asked, though he already knew the answer. Szeth looked at Iris, then at Greaves, then back at Iris. "You're the only 2 humans on this station," he said. "Congratulations. You're now Earth's diplomatic representatives." Iris still had half a sandwich in her hand. She looked at it, looked at Greaves, looked at the assembled aliens who were treating her lunch like a military operation. "I didn't even get my visa," she said quietly. "You're going to need more than a visa," Krill said, packing up the datapad. "You're going to need a miracle." Through the station windows, ships were already moving, carrying the news across the galaxy. Earth. Predator world. Quarantine level 9. 3 extinct predators in every human's DNA. Somewhere out there, the Galactic Council was assembling, and Iris Kowalski, data analyst, was going to have to convince them that humanity wasn't going to eat everyone. She took another bite of her sandwich. "This is going on my performance review, isn't it?" "If we survive," Greaves said, "I'll write you a great recommendation." "If?" He shrugged. Seemed like the appropriate level of optimism for the situation. The Galactic Council chamber was designed to inspire awe. It succeeded. Mostly because it was terrifying. Thousands of species in concentric rings, all staring at Iris and Greaves. The council leader, An ancient being that looked like a tree with anxiety spoke in a voice that echoed through every translator. Humans of Earth, what are your intentions toward peaceful civilizations? Iris gripped her datapad. I was trying to get a work visa. Your genetic profile suggests you are a hybrid superpredator containing DNA from 3 extinct apex predator species. Technically, all humans are like that, Greaves said. It's not a big deal. The chamber erupted in panic. Not helping, Iris hissed. The council leader raised appendages for silence. You claim this is normal? Yes, and I can explain. Iris projected a presentation. Human Evolution 101, or How We Became the Galaxy's Biggest Misunderstanding. Humans evolved on Earth over millions of years. We encountered other hominid species, Neanderthals, Denisovans, maybe others. Your competition, someone called out. Our cousins, Iris corrected. We didn't hunt them to extinction. We, She glanced at Greaves. He shrugged. We dated them. Silence. You reproduced with competing predator species? It's called genetic diversity, Iris said. Also, we were really lonely on the Ice Age tundra. They weren't predators, they were people. They had culture, language, art, just different versions of human. She pulled up genetic charts. When populations interbreed, beneficial traits get passed down. Better immune systems, climate adaptations. That doesn't make us super predators. It makes us survivors. Dr. Krill stood. But what about the pack bonding? We're social. That's it. We work together because we're better together, not because we're hunting. Then explain the domestication of predator species. You mean pets? Iris pinched her nose. Who here has a small creature we can borrow? Something cute, ideally nervous. Someone produced a fluffy salamander with too many eyes. It was placed on the floor. The creature tried to hide behind its own tail. Iris knelt down slowly. Hey there, little guy. She's stalking it, someone whispered. I'm being non-threatening. Iris kept her voice gentle. Come here, it's okay. The creature crept forward, sniffed her fingers, then climbed onto her hand. Within 5 minutes, it was curled in her lap, purring. See? Pack bonding. We do this with literally anything that'll tolerate us. Greaves pulled out his phone. This is my dog, domesticated wolves. My nephew, small human. My Roomba wearing a hat. We'll befriend robots if they're cute enough. We befriend things, Iris said. It's our whole deal. We're not plotting domination. We're just trying to make friends. Your papers assumed malice where there was none, she told Krill. You saw predatory traits and assumed predatory intentions. We're just trying to exist, and maybe pet some cool alien animals. The council leader leaned forward. You expect us to believe a species with 3 apex predators in its DNA, evolved on a death world, is simply friendly? Yes, Iris and Greaves said simultaneously. The chamber debated. Finally, the council leader spoke. Humans will be permitted immigration. However, all humans must undergo mandatory predator awareness training. To teach other species not to panic, the leader explained, and to teach humans which behaviors are concerning. Additionally, we require human liaisons. Iris Kowalski, you are hereby Human-Alien Relations Specialist. Lieutenant Greaves, you are Cultural Liaison. Do I still get to bring sandwiches? Greaves asked. That will be required? Sweet. 3 weeks later, Iris filled out paperwork in her new apartment. Question 83. Have you ever consumed another sentient being? She checked no, then paused at the footnote. Include competitive debate and rhetorical annihilation. She sighed, crossed out no. Greaves appeared with sandwiches. Ready for diplomatic lunch? So we're officially the galaxy's scary neighbors now. Could be worse. At least they're not asking about our spiders. Don't mention the spiders. Or the octopi. Or that thing we did with wolves. They're never letting us near their wildlife, they said simultaneously. Across the galaxy, a xenobiologist pulled up footage of a honey badger, watched it fight 6 lions, eat a venomous snake, break into a research facility through sheer stubbornness. The scientist activated emergency broadcast. Code Vermillion. Earth requires immediate upgrade to quarantine level 12. There is no level 12. There is now. The broadcast echoed across 3 sectors. Iris's datapad pinged. She read it. They found the honey badgers. How bad? They're inventing new quarantine levels. Greaves laughed. Told you we should have led with the cute animals. Honey badgers aren't cute. They're rage incarnate. Iris went back to paperwork, wondering if humanity would ever stop being the galaxy's weirdest problem. Probably not. But at least she finally had her visa. Small victories, even for apex predators.